Your horse might be standing right next to you every single day and still not trust you. Not because they dislike you, not because you've done something wrong, but because trust with a horse is built through signals so quiet that most owners never even notice they're missing. Horses don't tell you they don't trust you with a growl or a warning. They tell you with silence, with distance, with tension held so subtly you'd have to know exactly where to look. These are 7 signs that your horse hasn't fully let their guard down around you yet. And fair warning, the last one is the one almost nobody catches, because it isn't something your horse does. It's something they don't do. And that absence says more than any gesture could. The first one is something you can spot in the first few seconds of any interaction. Their head stays high. You walk up to your horse, and instead of that soft, low, relaxed posture you see in bonded pairs, the head stays up, alert, scanning. Most owners think, that's just how they are, or they're excited to see me. But head height is one of the most reliable readouts of a horse's internal state. High head, tight poll, ears swiveling independently, that's a nervous system still in watch mode. It doesn't mean your horse is scared of you. It means their body hasn't yet decided you're safe enough to stop monitoring. With a trusted person, the head drops. The neck lengthens, the vigilance switches off. If that switch never flips around you, that's worth paying attention to. The second one is easy to miss because it looks like nothing at all. They don't choose to stand near you. You're in the paddock. Your horse has the whole space to move through. And when given the option, they graze somewhere else. Not because they're avoiding you exactly, but because you're not their default. Researchers studying horse-rider bonds have used proximity seeking as one of the clearest markers of trust, placing horses in open spaces with both a familiar and unfamiliar person, and measuring who they approached and stayed near. Horses with strong bonds gravitated toward their person consistently across different settings. Horses without that bond didn't show a preference at all. They just existed near you, not with you. That absence of pull toward you is quiet, but it's real data. The third sign shows up the moment you touch them. Muscles tense under your hand. You go to groom or pat your horse and their skin twitches, their back tightens, sometimes just slightly, sometimes enough that you can see it ripple. People often write this off as ticklishness or a quirk of that particular horse. But touch tolerance is deeply tied to trust. A horse that fully trusts you allows contact without flinching because their nervous system is embracing for something unexpected. When the muscles stay guarded under your hand, that's the body saying, I'm not sure what you're going to do next. It's not personal, it's protective. But it tells you the relationship isn't there yet. The fourth one is something a lot of owners actually feel proud of without realizing what it means. They only move when directed. You ask your horse to walk, they walk. You ask them to stop, they stop. It looks like good training, and it might be. But there's a difference between a horse that follows instruction and a horse that follows you willingly, without a lead rope, without a cue, simply because they've decided you're worth staying close to. Horses in a herd follow individuals they trust to make good decisions, not because they're told to, but because they want to. If your horse only ever moves in response to a command and never chooses proximity on their own, that's a sign the relationship is still built on compliance rather than trust. Compliance can look identical to trust from the outside. It rarely feels the same from the inside. The fifth sign is one that shows up in the eyes if you know how to look. They watch you differently than they watch other things. Pay attention next time you're near your horse. A relaxed horse near someone they trust has soft eyes, half-lidded, unfocused, almost sleepy. A horse that isn't sure about you keeps a harder, more focused watch, tracking your hands, your movement, your position, the way they track anything unpredictable in their environment. It's not fear exactly, it's unresolved uncertainty. Horses process threat visually in a very specific way, and that hard tracking stare is the same one they give a strange dog or an unfamiliar object in the arena. If you're getting that look regularly, your horse hasn't filed you under safe yet. If this is changing how you see your horse, subscribe and leave a like. It helps more people learn to read what their horse has been trying to say all along. The sixth sign is the one that flips almost everyone's assumption. They always keep you in their line of sight. You'd think this means they're bonded to you, watching you out of affection, but constantly keeping you in view, especially with the head slightly turned, ears locked in your direction, is actually the opposite of the trust signal people expect. Horses that deeply trust someone will turn their back on them without a second thought, because they don't feel the need to keep tracking a threat. A horse that never lets you out of their peripheral vision, that repositions itself so it can always see you, is still treating you the way it would treat something it hasn't fully ruled out as dangerous. Real trust looks like a horse that's willing to stop watching, not because they don't care where you are, but because they no longer feel like they need to know. And that brings us to the final sign, the one I mentioned at the start, the one that isn't a behavior at all. It's an absence. No sigh. If you've spent time with horses that trust their person deeply, you've probably heard it. That long, full body exhale that comes when a horse's nervous system finally drops out of alert mode entirely. It's involuntary. It's physiological. It says it only happens when the parasympathetic system takes over, and that only happens when perceived safety is high enough for the body to let go completely. It's not something a horse decides to do for you. It's something their body does despite them. If you've spent real time with your horse, groomed them, stood beside them, been close for extended periods, and you've never once heard that sigh, that absence is the clearest sign that their body hasn't reached that threshold with you yet. It's not dramatic. It doesn't announce itself. It's just quiet, and that quiet is the information. None of this means your horse dislikes you. Trust with a horse isn't built through force or time alone. It's built through consistency, predictability, and moments where you prove again and again that being near you doesn't require vigilance. Every one of these signs can change. Head height drops. Muscles soften. Proximity becomes a choice instead of an accident. The stare turns into something softer. And one day, without warning, without you doing anything different, you'll hear that exhale and you'll know something shifted. Comment and tell me which of these you recognized. And if the answer was none of them yet, that's not the end of the story. That's just where it starts.